Hi, it's Rick here with a spoon that I made for a friend of mine. Now I've done some coal rosing on it and I've wiped it down with oil. This happens to be grapeseed oil, and I could call it done and just give it away like this, but I want to do a little something extra to it, so I'm going to rub it down with spoon butter to really put a glow into the wood. Now spoon butter, or wood butter as it's sometimes called, is a mixture of wax and oil, and it's completely organic depending on the ingredients that you use. And I'm going to show you how to make it right now. So this is my postal scale, and I'll be measuring out what we need to make the spoon butter. Now this is a big chunk of beeswax, and I have shaved some of it off so it will melt easier. You're also going to need the oil that you're going to use. Now I'm making this an organic batch, so I'm using 100% grapeseed oil, and I'm told that grapeseed oil is pretty much hypoallergenic, although the beeswax would not be. And you'll need a jar to put it in. I'm making a very small batch. I have a small mason type jar. So the first thing I want to do is get this on the scale and then zero it out. Now this is a very small jar, so I'm going to be making a very small batch of this. And you want a wide mouth jar if possible, because you're going to want to be putting a rag or something in there to get at it. But since this is such a small jar, I'm only going to use a ½ ounce of wax. So let's get that in there. Here we go, 4 ounces. There we go, ½ an ounce. So a ½ ounce of wax, and I'm using a 4-to-1 ratio. So 4 parts oil to 1 part wax. So since I have ½ an ounce of wax, I'll be wanting to use 2 ounces of oil. So I'll zero this out again. That's now at 0, and I'll add 2 ounces of the grapeseed oil. And that's just over, but that'll do. So once we have that, we can take it to the stove. So here we are at my kitchen stove, and this is where the disclaimer comes in. I am doing this for demonstration purposes only, to show you how I make spoon butter. Should you decide to do this yourself and get hurt or burn your house down or something, it is not my responsibility. I'm just showing you how I do it. I'm not advocating that you do it. That being said, I have a lid for the pan, so that should the oil start on fire, I'll be able to cover the pan and smother the fire. And I have my little jar of oil and wax. And off camera, I added enough water to this pan so that it'll come up to right about where the screws end on the lid section. So let's get that in the water. And that has a good inch of glass sticking up out of the water that way. And then I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to turn it up to about medium just to get it started. And once the little bubbles start forming on the bottom of the pan, I'm going to turn it down probably as low as it'll go. You want to do this very slowly. You don't want this oil to catch fire. So let's get started on that. You want to watch this very closely. You do not want to heat it up too fast. As soon as you see bubbles starting to form on the bottom of the pan, turn it down. You You do not want this to boil. You may need to turn it down to the lowest setting. This is an electric stove. Obviously on a gas stove it's a little different, but you want to keep it very low, not boiling, just hot, so that it melts the wax into the oil. You don't want to get this too hot or the oil will burst into flames, and that's something you definitely do not want. Once you've noticed that all the wax has melted into the oil, give it a stir and take it off the heat. Then remove the jar from the water. And allow it to cool. This will take 20 or more minutes maybe to cool. If you notice the wax separating from the oil, don't be afraid to give it a stir. Once the mixture has hardened, it's ready to use. So here's our finished product, and it's kind of a paste wax, and you use it like any other paste wax. Get a little bit on a rag, rub it into the wood. And as you see, it gives the wood a nice warm glow. Now if you give away a little bit of this with your spoons, after they're washed several times and they need a little help, you can just rub some of this in and it brings the wood back to life. Now as you saw, that was completely organic. This is another batch that I made at another time. This is not completely organic. This is made from mineral oil and purified paraffin wax, that is canning wax. And what I like about this is that it is pretty much completely non-allergenic. While the beeswax or the oil that you use in the organic formula may be a problem for a small percentage of people. They could be allergic to the beeswax or the oil that you're using. The wood butter made with the paraffin wax and the mineral oil, you don't really have to worry about that. Almost no one on the entire planet is allergic to this, and that's why I like to use this on toys rather than the more organic stuff. But it's easy to make and useful to have around. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and as always, thank you for watching.